Welcome, welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes, whoever may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, September 21st, Sunday, September 22nd, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. And thank you so much for joining me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in Rockies. So we did have a late start today, and I'm actually kicking it around the idea of just starting later, period. Because starting as early as I do, it's not the late night. And it just seems to get in the way of a lot of things. Like the reason I'm late this evening is my son had a birthday party in Farmington, and we went to Fly High, and it was great, but I got out of there like an hour or so later than I wanted to. And so, I had to kick it out an hour so I can get everything done and ready to present to you. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find at KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com. You can also find us on eTalk Radio, which you can find at etalk.tv/radio, as well as Spreaker.com, which you just have to look for We Are Paradox Media. And then if you like to watch as well as listen, you can find us on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And if you don't mind, just mosey on over to our YouTube and give us a little like, give that bell a little kick, and please subscribe. It'd be great. That way, next time we have a show, you'll be known or made privy that we are doing a show. If you want to listen in your free time, whether you're working it or working out, just listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, and we'll be there. So tonight it's Trippy TikToks with me, TessaTNT. There's a couple of these that have been forbidden from the YouTube. Oh no, I thought I lost you guys for a second. And a copyright restriction, which a lot of these I knew about due to seeing them on other channels. And so, I'm just going to have to get in there and tell YouTube, hey, there's no reason for this. One of them was, what was the song they were saying? People Are Strange by Jim Morrison. I don't play music like that, so I don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, we'll deal with that later. So let's get into our TikToks today. And I got some funny stuff for you. I hope you like it. And if you have any that you want me to show, you can tag me in it. TessaTNT. I think, let me see what it is again. TessaTNT1. TessaTNT1 is my TikTok. So, just tag me there, and then I'll share it on our next show. Or you can send it to me at weareparadoxmedia@gmail.com. So let's get on with the show, shall we? So funny. Not funny, ha-ha, funny peculiar.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. In Springfield.
So, I gotta say, it must be true because I saw it on The Simpsons. Let me zoom in on this really quick because it's not letting me do my arrow. I want to leave. Thank you.
Did you know that this little boy, Cameron Macaulay, lived twice? That's right, it's another reincarnation story, and this one is mind-blowing. Cameron Macaulay was born and raised in Glasgow in Scotland, but from the age of 2 years old, he would tell his family all about his
Mr.
previous
Hayes.
life on the island of Barra, which is an island off the west coast of Scotland. Cameron lived with his mum, Norma, and they had lived in Glasgow all of his life, and they had never even been to Barra. Barra was 200 miles away from Glasgow. To get there, it would have taken them an hour by plane and even longer by sea. But Cameron was insistent, so he told his mother all about the white house that they used to live in, the house that overlooked the sea. He would talk about how planes used to land on the beach, and he talked about how much he loved his little black and white dog. Cameron told his mum that his dad, when he lived on the island, was a man named Shane Robertson, and he had died after being hit by a car because, in Cameron's exact words, he hadn't looked both ways. He would complain about the toilets on the island of Barra. He would say that his parents had 3 toilets and that he missed his mother and his siblings, and he would get really upset that he had to leave his mother. Eventually he was escorted to the island by a man named Dr. Jim Tucker, who was a child psychologist. And on the way there on the plane, Cameron was so excited, he was jumping up and down going, "I'm going home, I'm going home." He told everybody that he couldn't wait to see his mother, that she had long brown hair all the way down her back, and that she had read him Bible stories. Now, in his real life, Cameron and his mother, Norma, they weren't religious people, and Norma had never exposed him to anything religious, and she never read to him from the Bible. They got to a place where they thought Cameron might be talking about, but when they got there, they realised there was no white house overlooking the bay, and there was no house owned by a Robertson family, so they were really disappointed. Until they thought maybe we should try the other side of the island, and sure enough, they got confirmation that there was a Robertson family living on the other side of the island. They got into the car to go there. They didn't tell Cameron where they were going, but when they arrived, he jumped out of the car and immediately ran to this white house. When they went into the house, Cameron ran around, showing everybody all the rooms that he used to live in.
What happened? Is there like a
Showed
part
everybody
2?
the
Okay, I
3
see.
toilets that did indeed exist in this house, took everybody out to show them the secret garden gate that he had spoken about for years. When the researchers found the surviving members of the Robertson family, who had since moved away, they were able to get their hands on some photos of the car that the Robertson family drove and photos of the dog. And guess what? They were exactly the same as Cameron had described. Interestingly though, the researchers could find no information about this Shane Robertson person who allegedly had been hit by a car. Also interestingly, Cameron used to say to his mother and people around him, "Don't worry about dying because you just come back again." He also used to say to his mum when she would ask him how he got there, he would say, "I fell through and went into your tummy." If you want to hear more reincarnation stories, you can listen to episode number 62 of my podcast, Real Life Ghost Stories, entitled That's Where I Died, and it was released on January the 5th, 2020.
I love her accent. But yeah, past life stuff is super interesting to me. I don't have any past life memories of my own, unless my repetitive dream that I had as a kid. I could have been one of those peeps that were building the buildings in New York, and I fell from a crane that was moving an iron beam. Repetitive dream. I always woke up before I hit the ground, and each time I had the dream, I got closer and closer and closer to the ground till like right before the crack of the sidewalk would hit my nose. But no, my youngest daughter had told me when she was younger. Okay, it all started with she had a lanyard. She was tying it around her leg. And I was like, "Sissy, don't do that because you're going to cut off the circulation and then you're going to get the pins and needles. Your leg's going to, feel funny and you're not going to like it." And she said, "But Mama, I have to tie it off or I'm going to bleed out." She was like 1.5 at this point in time. So I'm like, what kid knows the term bleed out? And then a week or so later, she said that when she was an adult, she was a man, she was tall, she had blonde curly hair, and she wore glasses. She wore glasses, so I'm assuming perhaps she might have been like a field medic for the military or something like that, and she got shot during service. I'm not quite sure, but that was pretty intriguing. And then I've had a couple friends of mine tell me about their experiences. I know, isn't it weird? Yeah, they've told me about their experiences. And my friend Kat, who was my mentor, she passed. And her and her daughter shared lives so many different times, like her being the daughter and her daughter being the mom, or her being the son, and vice versa. Like there's so many different strange happenings with that, but it's pretty intriguing to me. And if you're into that kind of stuff, there's a new show on Netflix called Chaos, and it's been really, really good so far. And they go a bit into when you go to the other side, the river Styx, etc., to the land of the dead, then you pass through this frame, which sends you back to the world again. But you can only pass through the frame if someone gives you a coin to get over. So don't forget the coin.
Did you know that these two women were at the centre of one of the most famous time slips? In 1911, Anne Elizabeth Moberly and Eleanor Frances Jourdain published a book called The Adventure, in which they highlighted this crazy time slip that happened to them while they were visiting the Palace of Versailles in Paris. Now, these two women were well-respected English academics. They were on holidays together because they were trying to decide whether or not they would work well together in a professional capacity. And during this holiday, they decided to visit the Palace of Versailles. I'm going to say it here now. Excuse my pronunciation, okay? I'm very clearly not French. So it was the 10th
I love her
of August,
accent.
1901, and the two women are visiting the Palace of Versailles. Fundamentally, they're pretty disappointed with the Palace of Versailles. They're like, oh, it's not as great as I thought it was going to be. As they're bopping around the grounds of Versailles, they get a little bit lost and they take this little laneway. And Moberly sees this woman who is hanging out of a window, like, shaking out a white cloth. And she wonders why Jourdain doesn't ask this woman for directions, because her French is fundamentally better. It was only later, when the women compared their experiences, that they realised that Moberly saw this woman, but Jourdain did not see this woman. She didn't see her at all. Now that, of course, could just be an oversight. So as they're walking along, Jourdain wrote down that she started to see like farm implements that were kind of littered around the place that looked really old-fashioned. They're still walking along, still lost, when two men walk towards them. And those men are wearing long greyish-green coats with small three-cornered hats. And both Moberly and Jourdain are like, oh, those are strange outfits, but they assume that they're gardeners or groundskeepers. So they stop and ask the men for directions. The men speak to the women in a tone that the women described as casual and mechanical, whatever that means. They continue strolling along and they see like a little cottage.
Unnatural.
And outside of this little cottage is a young teenage girl and what they assume to be her mother. And the young teenage girl is passing a jug to her mother. And they realise that these women are dressed in kind of really old-fashioned clothes. As they continue their walk, they feel the atmosphere change all around them. They're suddenly both like assailed with feelings of loneliness and depression, and they see a man sitting near a kiosk. Moberly described this man as exuding evil. She described him as being sallow-skinned, he had an odious expression, his face was pockmarked and scarred and rough, and she was genuinely taken aback by how negative she felt in his presence. But they were distracted by this handsome man who came towards them. He was wearing like a large-brimmed Spanish hat and buckled shoes, and he was speaking French but in an accent, so they couldn't quite understand what he was saying. So they continue along until they get to something called the Petit Trianon, which is like a fancy country house that is built on the grounds of Versailles. And on the terrace there is a fair-haired, pretty woman, and she seems to be sketching something. Now, Moberly sees her, but again, Jourdain doesn't see her. But Jourdain did later say that as she approached the terrace, she felt as though there was somebody there. She felt the presence of another human, but she couldn't see anybody. Eventually, they made their way back to where they had started walking around Versailles, and everything was back to normal. They hopped in a carriage and away they went. They didn't discuss what had happened immediately, but a week later, Moberly asked Jourdain whether she thought the Petit Trianon was haunted, and Jourdain was like, fuck yes, that place is haunted, for sure. And it was 3 months later when they really discussed what had happened on their walk, and they realised that one of them had seen somebody and the other person hadn't, and then the other person would see somebody and the other person hadn't, and they couldn't quite figure out why this had happened to them. And then they were told something really strange by a French friend of theirs. So August the 10th was the date that they went on their walk. August the 10th also happened to be the last day of freedom for the French royal family. And legend has it that on August the 10th, every year, Marie Antoinette can be seen sitting on the terrace of the Petit Trianon, painting or sketching. And on that day, you can also see servants and workers and other members of the family pottering about Versailles, going about their business. At this point, Moberly and Jourdain were like, I think something weird happened to us when we went on that walk. So they started to research the things that
sounds like time travel or something to me.
They believed that the woman that they saw sketching on the terrace was indeed Marie Antoinette herself. They also believed that the man that they saw that kind of imbued this evil vibe was a man that was called the Comte de Vaudreuil. Now, I'm sorry if I'm not saying that correctly, but he was this courtier and Marie Antoinette apparently hated him. He was not a good guy. He had sallow skin and pockmarked skin in real life. Later, Moberly and Jourdain went to see some traditional French theatre, and they realised that the costumes of some of the extras were identical to the outfits that were worn by the men that they thought were gardeners. They also believed that the farm implements that they saw littered around the grounds were implements that were in use at the time of the Revolution. And not only that, but the layout and the buildings that they described seeing seemed to be from the time of the Revolution too. Now, there are lots of people that dispute this and argue that this is a case of two women who felt they had a strange experience and then researched it, and their memories were informed by the research that they did afterwards. There was also an argument that they were lesbians and therefore couldn't be trusted. Famously,
oh yeah, don't trust them.
stands for time slips.
Give me a break.
Lesbians are forever lying about time slips. It's really hard to do this story justice in a singular video, but if you want to hear the whole story, you can listen to episode number 238 of my podcast, Real Life Ghost Stories. It's entitled Time Slips. And I mean, it doesn't just end there. Like, they did go back to Versailles. They went back a number of times and had other weird things that happened to them. So if that's your bag, if you like lesbians and time slips, then maybe go and listen to this episode.
I think both are cool, but it's so funny the superstition and different stupid things that we humans partake in. Some are fun and funny, but this to me is ridiculous. But yeah, didn't Marie Antoinette and her husband get their heads chopped off because the people were pissed off because they were starving and they were just eating so wonderfully? I cannot remember correctly. History was my first class in school, and I was always so tired because I can't sleep. Oh, the thunder's rolling. Yeah. Pretty sure they lost their heads.
Did you know that this boy, Ryan Hammonds, literally lived twice? This is such a good
I'm
reincarnation
going to
story.
give you guys her page
when
name.
When Ryan was 4 years old, he started directing
Real Life Ghost Stories.
movies, and his parents thought it was really cute.
So yeah, it's Real Life Ghost Stories. Please go, if you're on TikTok, please go and subscribe to this lady. Not only does she have some really good videos, but I just love her accent. I still don't know, is it Scottish or Irish? Could be both.
Cute. He'd be going around shouting action, acting out scenes, the whole lot. Then things took a bit of a dark turn. Ryan would wake up in the middle of the night screaming and wailing, clutching his chest and saying that his heart had exploded when he was in Hollywood. Now, this little boy was from Oklahoma. He had never been to Hollywood, but he started describing his life there. He said he had a big white house and a swimming pool, and he had 3 sons, but he couldn't remember their names. And he used to sob to his mother, asking her, "Why can't I remember my children's names?" During this time, his mother had spoken to doctors, etc., and they just said, look, he'll just grow out of it, but he didn't. He kept becoming really upset about his children, why he couldn't remember them, about his previous life in Hollywood, and eventually the mother said, look, I'll get some books on old Hollywood, and maybe that will help him to explore these feelings that he's having. In one of these books, there was a still image from the 1930s film Night After Night. And in this particular still image, there are men having a confrontation, 2 men, and then they are surrounded by 4 other men. And Ryan stopped on this picture. The mother didn't know the film, nor did she recognise any of the actors in the picture. But Ryan stopped, pointed at a man in the picture and said, "Hey, that's George. We did a picture together." And of course, George Raft was one of the actors in the film. But then he pointed to another man and he said, "That's me. I found me." I think it's important to note at this point that there were no names provided in the book as to who these actors were. But after some research, the mother was able to find out that this actor was indeed George Raft, who was kind of a lesser known actor from the 30s and 40s. But she was not able to identify the man that Ryan claimed to be him. So she wrote to Jim Tucker, who was an associate psychiatry professor, and he agreed to take on Ryan's case and help them as much as he could. Eventually, they were able to get a film archivist to look at the picture, and they found out that this man was a man named Martin Martin. Yes, that was his real name, and he was an uncredited extra in this film. And here's where it gets even crazier. So, because they now had his name, they were able to track down Martin Martin's daughter, and they brought Ryan to meet her. Ryan said in his previous life he was a dancer, and Martin Martin danced on Broadway. Ryan said that when his dancing career ended, he became an agent in Hollywood where people change their names. And Martin Martin worked for a very well-known talent agency in Hollywood.
She kind of sounds Scottish, like my friend Jim Morris.
Names. Ryan also said that his
she's
older
Irish.
had rock in the name, and Martin
But they're kind of similar.
lived at 825
Irish and
North
Scottish.
Roxbury Drive in Beverly Hills. Ryan also said that he had been friends with a man named Senator Five. And Martin Martin's daughter produced a picture of her father with Senator Ives. And Senator Ives had been in the US Senate from 1947 to 1959. And as it turned out, Martin Martin did indeed have 3 sons, and his daughter was finally able to tell Ryan their names. If you want to hear more reincarnation stories, you can listen to episode number 62 of my podcast, Real Life Ghost Stories. It is entitled That's Where I Died, and it was released on January the 5th, 2020. Did you know I came across a delicious Glitch in the Matrix / time slip story for you?
Okay, so this is how I found Real Life Ghost Stories. I was looking at Glitch in the Matrix things, because there's all kinds of glitches and time slips and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, she's got all kinds of cool stories about past lives, glitches, time slips, etc. I really enjoy her channel.
So let's get into it. I found the story on the 14 Times forum, and our original poster stayed anonymous, but back in the early 90s, he was about 18, 19 years old and was working in a summer job. Now, in this job, him and his colleague used to take a work van and they would drive the same route every single day. So it was a stretch of road through a forest, completely straight, thick forest on either side. They did it every day, multiple times a day. So this one day, they are driving back to their work building through this straight stretch of road in the forest when they realise, shit, they're nearly out of gas. And they decide, look, we're going to keep going, see how far we get, and then if we need to call somebody, we'll call somebody. At the time, the van had long-wave radio, and they reach this stretch of road and the radio cuts out, stops working, a black spot. And on the right-hand side of the road, they notice that there's this shed, this corrugated iron, flat-roofed shed that they've never seen before, with a handwritten sign that just says gas. So they're like, weird, we've never seen this before, but also great. So the pair didn't really think that much of it. They were kind of like, oh, how weird is it that we've driven this road every day and we haven't seen this gas station before? But they thought because it was so mundane, so normal, they just didn't register it in their brain. So the original poster goes into this corrugated iron shed. I mean, clearly had never seen a horror film before in their life, because if I've learned anything, it's that I'm not going into any sort of corrugated iron shed, unless of course it is to get a warning that I'm going to die in the imminent future. But he goes in, he calls out hello. Eventually this little man in his 60s appears, and he's sort of short, he's round, he's wearing a pair of trousers held up by a pair of braces and a flannel shirt. He has these really thick
When she says braces, is that like suspenders?
Coke bottle glasses and like a Greek fisherman's hat. The original poster is like, well, I need to get some gas. And the guy seems quite put out by the whole thing. So he's fumbling around, getting this key. He's mumbling in Swedish. He goes out and he's sort of rocking from side to side, constantly watching the two men. And the two guys are like, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to us. So they fill up with gas, and as they're driving away, they look in the rearview mirror, and the man is standing on the side of the road, sort of waving both hands in the air at them. And they're like, that was such a strange encounter. By the time they get back to their workplace, The van is on its last legs. It's sputtering, it's smoking. Things are not looking good. So
No, come back. Real life ghost stories. No.
the work mechanic reckons that they've either put petrol or diesel into the van when they shouldn't have.
True.
And he's like, right, we need to siphon it out. So they siphon it out, but what comes out is sweet and smells like turpentine. And the mechanic looks at it and he goes,
turpentine does not smell sweet.
Wartime gasoline. Where did you get this? Wartime gasoline was basic.
My granny used to put turpentine on ticks that we'd get in Arkansas when we lived in Pettigrew, or outside of Pettigrew, Arkansas. Smallest little town I've ever seen. But yeah, turpentine on there because I guess it would seep into your skin and the ticks didn't like it, so they'd unburrow and you can get them out easier. I don't know, but it doesn't smell sweet.
Of crude concoction that was used during wartime when people didn't have enough fuel, and it wouldn't make your car run efficiently, but it would make your vehicle run. So the two guys say, well, we stopped at that gas station along the road, and the mechanic is like, what gas station? There's no gas station along that road.
You guys are on drugs.
An original poster described this moment as being like a bubble burst. The two friends, the two work colleagues were suddenly like, shit. We
I'll tell you about this in a minute, Mr. Case.
They went eventually, drove up and down the road. There was no sign of the gas station, no sign that there ever had been a gas station there. And in later life, the original poster was still really perturbed by this whole story. And he did some research. There never was a gas station there. But one of the really amazing things about this story is that he physically kept the receipt. This strange man in this strange gas station had handwritten a receipt and given it to him, and he had put it into his wallet. So he knew that he had physically been there. That fuel was put into the van somehow. But there was no evidence of there ever being a gas station there. So was it a glitch in the Matrix? Was it a time slip? Was it a step into an alternate universe? Why did the radios black out on that stretch of road? Who knows?
Alright, before we go there, I lost it. Let me move my head around. Maybe I'll get it back. Never mind. Maybe I'll think of it in a second. It was something she said that reminded me of this, but let's continue.
If you've never experienced a glitch in the Matrix, this is probably not the video for you, so just continue scrolling because you're going to think that I'm crazy. If you have experienced it, I want to know if anyone has experienced anything similar to this, especially from...
Okay, I remember now. Okay, it's about dreams. And... turpentine is ruthless. No wonder the ticks back out. They're like, no, they don't like it. But okay, dreams. So I don't know if you've had paranormal experiences or not, but I feel like we have a family curse and things have been after me all my life, off and on. And recently something came back and told me to roll over. I belong to him, etc. Gone for a while, but continually like waking me up like every hour on the hour, or right when I get to sleep, she'll make a crazy noise. Like when she did that pop noise, it was like, or it was like, it sounded like something popped. I can't do it like that. And I woke up, I was like, what the heck is that? So I've heard of exploding head syndrome where, you know, people think, yeah, I thought she was Irish. I recognize that. But no, exploding head disease. So certain people get this and they think they've been shot or whatever, or somebody fired a gun, like a shotgun or whatever. But I heard that bubble pop was one of the strange things. Other things are just like hearing a man's voice and waking up and looking around and there's no man there, except for, you know, my old man anyways. But yeah. That one was so weird compared to the other ones I've had. I looked up, I was like, what the heck? I don't know. I wonder if the dream bubble I was in decided to pop. I'm not sure. But, I don't know, freaking strange to me. Let's get over here. Okay, let's continue on with the story.
From a young age. So I've had multiple glitches throughout my life, especially now that I've gotten older. I can understand what's happening. But this is, I want to talk about the very first one. the very first one that I can remember that I was like, am I crazy or are all of you crazy? So this is around 4th or 5th grade, elementary school. My grandma would pick me up from school 2 to 3 times a week. We were very close. My grandma lived like rock throwing distance from my house. So I would literally travel up the creek through the woods to my grandmother's house that I would go. I would spend all my time with my grandma. So after school, she would pick me up and we would go to Wendy's. That was our thing. We loved Wendy's. My grandma has very prominent blue eyes, like crystal clear. It's a very prominent feature about my grandma that she has very blue, piercing crystal blue eyes. So this one day, she picks me up. We go to Wendy's. We're sitting in the glass area. If you know Wendy's back then you know what I'm talking about. We're sitting there eating our fries, and I look up at my grandma, and my grandma has brown eyes. They're brown.
What?
And so naturally, I was like, Grandma, your eyes are brown. And she was like, yeah, Lauren, I have brown eyes. I was like, Grandma, no, you don't. You have very blue eyes. What do you mean you have blue eyes? And she was like, no, Lauren, I have brown eyes. So whatever, we eat. She takes me home, and this is the whole thing. I talked to my mom, too, and I'm like, Mom, Grandma has brown eyes. And my mom was like, yeah, Grandma has brown eyes. No, she doesn't. She has blue eyes. What do you mean she has brown eyes? Like, everyone knows that Grandma has blue eyes, and everybody was making me believe that I was crazy. The next time that I see my grandma, 3 days later, my grandma has blue eyes again. So, of course, I'm like, Grandma, your eyes are blue. Why are your eyes blue? And she's like, yeah, Lauren, I have blue eyes. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? We just had this conversation 3 days ago when you had brown eyes, and I told you that you have blue eyes, and you're telling me that you have brown eyes, but I know that you have blue eyes, and now that you have blue eyes again, you're telling me that you know you have blue eyes? I'm not crazy. This was not a dream. I did not dream this. This happened. This was reality. I mean,
Perhaps,
it was like Monday,
Mr. Hayes.
On Thursday. Now
I feel like it. All the driving I did today.
Like, I did not make this up. This is still with me to this day. I think about this to this day. My grandma had brown eyes that day that I went to Wendy's with her after school. I didn't make that shit up. Like, that was reality.
She just said it.
Miss a day.
That was perfect timing.
This happened. Has anybody else ever experienced anything like that?
Which is not true. My dad had really dark brown eyes, but
colors, and they fully believe that their eyes were a different color. I'll never forget that. If you've never experienced...
Okay, so I'm just thinking, it sounds like going back and forth between, like you said, 2 different timelines, 2 different realms, 2 different matrices, whatever the heck you want to call it. I do believe stuff like this happens. Like, I've had time glitches and different weird stuff like this, so I believe what she's saying. And isn't there something about blue eyes, like, is not genetically natural? I gotta look that up. Can't remember what it said. I know I have some friends that get really freaked out by people with blue eyes, but let's continue. Okay, ninjas are butterflies or butterflies are ninjas? Hold on, let me look. Aw. It's not even saying. Man. Anyways, I really love this channel, and I believe it's butterflies or ninjas, or it could be ninjas or butterflies. Anyways, these guys are awesome. You should check them out. They always have a positive attitude and some very, very interesting things to share.
Have you guys heard that thing about the night vision goggles?
Oh my gosh.
Dude. You know, night vision now.
If you haven't heard about this is Trippy. I want some red night vision goggles.
Screen. But in the Vietnam War, the night vision goggles that they were issued were red light, and multiple people in the U.S. military that were using them were seeing what they're reporting as flying demons.
Ooh, stop.
And so there's an instance where they're flying these helicopters in Vietnam. It was a safe zone, no hostility, and then the gunner in the back just started shooting, and the pilot's like, "What are you shooting at?" And this guy, he was like panicked, and he's like sweating, and like it looked like he was like seeing a demon, and like, "What are you shooting at?" And he's like, "The demon." Apparently
just
this
kidding.
giant winged demon creature was like flying at him, and then people on the ground in the jungles that were using it, they were also seeing like these demonic looking, freaky looking creatures. And so the military banned those night vision goggles.
What?
And they replaced them with green light.
Easy
Did
as
the
it
bullets
looks.
work?
I've looked into it a little bit because I heard the same thing, but what they argued against it is that they were putting stuff inside the chemicals in the goggles that the chemical was literally leaking, and so they were literally tripping or having some type of like it was a hallucinogenic. That's what Jacob Ladders is all.
Okay, so let's retract here a second. If it was the fact that the goggles are leaking their fluids and people are getting high on it, wouldn't they just fix the seals or whatever so it doesn't leak anymore instead of changing it from red to green? Just ponder that for a second. There is something with blue eyes. I gotta look it up, seriously. Something going on with blue eyes where it's not genetically natural or something. And it's kind of like the RH factor as well. Like, that's considered like an alien thing. Like, the human body will try to reject it if you have an RH negative and an RH positive that mate or whatever and make a baby. You know how that goes. But yeah, something about blue eyes. I'm gonna look it up afterwards, but if you want to look it up right now, that's cool with me. But yeah, with this red and green night vision stuff, like, they would have just fixed the seals instead of completely redoing the night vision stuff.
About the movie?
Have you guys heard that thing about the night vision goggles?
Yep.
Did you see how hot it got in India?
No.
It's
Oh
record.
my gosh. What do you guys think? Like, the heat is going crazy in so many
It's
places.
getting up to like almost 130 degrees in parts of
Dude,
India.
no freaking way.
The streets are melting.
That's so scary. It's not as bad
It's
as
like
what's happening in
Arizona.
Britain, though.
Oh yeah, the UK.
Dude, heat strokes over there.
They have a heat wave coming. There's just like pictures of them like just sweating and like pouring water on their heads, and it's like it was literally 78 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
What are we doing?
I will say they don't have AC though.
Yeah, it's true.
Not 78 degrees Fahrenheit. It has to be Celsius. Because Celsius is higher than Fahrenheit, right? Like, the lower the number in Celsius, the higher it is in Fahrenheit.
That's true. But still.
Can we comment on these degenerate punks in the climate change community vandalizing Stonehenge?
Yeah.
No!
This behavior makes me want to not support it.
Why?
This doesn't make sense.
Vandalizing art.
Like, you'll get us on your side if you start like
art.
big CEOs like occupying
Not
Wall Street,
art.
kind of like how
Yeah.
they did back then. It's like, go after the man, not after like people who enjoy art and history.
Yeah, silly people.
Silly people. Now, I saw where they got it right. I saw this morning where they clipped where they literally broke into Taylor Swift's like airfield and they spray painted her car or jet and everything like that. I'm like, do that.
That's cool.
That's fine.
That's
Yeah.
Stonehenge
different.
makes no sense.
No.
Exactly. Exactly, because Stonehenge isn't causing any sort of pollution, but Taylor Swift flies everywhere on that jet. She's got a huge footprint, and I'm not talking about her foot. I'm talking about...
There's also a documentary that you guys need to watch. It's called the Grab documentary.
Haven't watched this yet, but I want to.
This whole is about this investigative journalist finds out that the new war
Write
is
this down.
food and water. And it's talking about how China does not have enough water to grow food for their own country. So that's why
Had to
they're
make a
going
note,
into
'cause
Africa,
I don't
into
remember.
the U.S., and buying up farmland
I have all the
to
timers.
send it back to feed their own country.
Store water.
It basically just shows how vulnerable our world is, but also how America is just like letting in all these
Yes.
different countries.
I do know that China has come over and purchased all kinds of land, and then let's not get started with Bill Gates.
Like China, Saudi Arabia, like buy up our farmland, but what they're doing is depleting our resources. But he's basically talking about how Russia right now, there is like melting away.
Also, Ukraine is the most vibrant as far as fertility and such, growing things. And I believe that's why Russia attacked Ukraine. I think the NATO thing is just an excuse. I think they've been planning this for a while. But that's just my thoughts. My thoughts aren't reality. What do you think? Leave a comment below.
So it's producing this like rich grassland, and it talked about how Putin is heavily investing in cattle right now and actually hiring U.S. cattlemen to come live in Russia and continue growing the cattle farm. It's showing how all these different countries like China and Russia trying to grow their infrastructure of food and water. And also Ukraine is like one of the best spots in Eastern Europe for growing food. They said that Ukraine produces like 23% of the world's grain. That was probably a reason that Russia tried to take over Ukraine. There's also a
That's what I'm saying, dude. Let's see now. Sunday cool tea. Yep.
Let me tell you about some maps dating back from the 1500s from all over the world. All these different cartographers all over the world. So Europe,
Asia,
Japan, China, all depicted at the North Pole. There's these 4 islands that are equally spaced apart, and in the center was a mountain.
So this is cool because, like, flat Earth, all this other shiz going on. These are ancient maps. If you look at ancient maps, they're so detailed, so on point. How could all these different countries have the same map? Are they sharing the same map maker or what?
It was a magnetic mountain. But certain maps, they would even say, like, this is the village where the Tartarians lived. But then you think of, like, Admiral Byrd, right? Who was the guy that explored Antarctica.
My husband just found Admiral Byrd's chair up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. He's on there all the time. But I'm like, how do you know it's his chair? It doesn't matter, I guess.
Story that he actually went in underground city.
Pretty nice.
Admiral Byrd went to the North Pole too, and he actually said that he flew into the Earth. There's an opening at the top of the world where you could fly into the Earth.
Shut up.
And this dude's a decorated admiral.
Yeah.
He said that the U.S. needs to be prepared because what he discovered in Antarctica.
Maybe he was using those night vision goggles and they leaked into his eyeballs and he started tripping. Just kidding. I believe him.
They have craft that can fly from the South Pole within minutes. One of the maps said that the rivers that pass through these islands, they said, are 33 miles wide and they only freeze for 3 months out of the year. Let me tell you about some maps dating back from the 1500s. People have said that Alex Jones is actually...
You know Alex Jones, right? He said a lot of things that didn't make sense, but then did make sense. And then he got sued for the whole Sandy Hook thing, which is very sad. Like, you never, when it comes to kids, ever try to do something like that. Like the kids in Hawaii, that's different because they have actually disappeared. Why is nobody talking about that? But, yeah, Alex Jones. Something up with that guy.
Working for the CIA. And it's because he says all these crazy conspiracy theories or like stuff that's happened and like, but he adds in Hillary Clinton is a lizard woman. So it like discredits everything he says. So people are like, they're saying that he's saying real things that are happening or are going to happen. It's immediately discredited by how psycho he is.
You have to at least agree that that would be a good strategy.
Yeah.
If you were trying to like make something seem silly, you would put it among other very silly things.
What do we call that tactic? The silly tactic?
Yeah. I think it's only one way to handle this, General. I think we gotta get silly.
Somebody call Alex!
Oh yeah, bring in Mr. Jones.
But it was funny, on the Joe Rogan podcast I listened to, he was saying crazy stuff. Joe Rogan was like getting mad at him. He's like, what proof do you have? And he's like, I'm telling you, man.
Could you imagine doing that interview? Like, if that's really Joe Rogan rubbing his head during that interview, you could tell he's trying to contain himself. Like, it's really hard, especially like he drinks and smokes on the job. Trying to hold your tongue when somebody's saying something you don't believe was very hard, especially these days with everybody diarrhea of the mouth and a lot of things are so ignorant. But there's a lot of important and unique points out there that are true. You just have to be open-minded.
He's like, Jamie, look it up. Everything Alex Jones was saying, Jamie's like, yeah, he's right. And then Joe Rogan's like, this is what's driving me nuts. He's like, 95% of the things that you say are indeed correct, but you're being a psychopath about everything.
Your delivery is so whack.
People have said that Alex Jones is
That's kind of what's made him so big is like his delivery. I don't remember, or I do remember, but I don't know if you guys remember that one guy, Mad Money, was the name of his show, and he just like scream, and he's talking about stocks and bonds and all this other crap. Mad Money, how to spend your money. Certain people deliver things in a certain way, and it makes it hard to believe or understand or listen to at times. Some people are pulled into it. Other people are just like, hell no, change the channel. But yeah, Alex Jones, a pretty intelligent dude.
In the past 24 hours, there's been 892 earthquakes, the largest being a magnitude.
And you know, it hasn't been 24 hours so far. Like, this is last week I got this.
5.5 in New Zealand. This is your Geo
Last
Roundup
weekend.
for September 13th, 2024. Let's dig into the details. On average, the earthquake count over the past week is above average at 7,138. This is mostly due to magnitude less than 4 earthquakes. The largest in the past week has been a magnitude 6.3 near Papua New Guinea, the same location that was struck by a magnitude 6.4 last week. In volcano news, the total active down to unrest count has stabilized at 92, the same as last week. And finally, an interesting article has been published by Christian Svenvig, a researcher and geologist in Denmark. They have discovered that a landslide in Greenland caused a 9-day-long seismic signal to propagate due to the landslide creating a tsunami. In the past 24 hours, there's been 8...
Wow. The world is going crazy. I don't know if you guys remember, like, this has been going on for a while, and it's like... different volcanoes are activating. The Ring of Fire is coming to pass. Is the Ring of Fire around the Earth, or is it like this? I'm pretty sure it's around. If you look at that map, that's how it appears. I don't know. Big one.
Afraid of the big one. Once a year, I reread that New Yorker article.
No, but same. The shit is bananas. I'm jumping around a little bit.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Passages. Lax safety policies guarantee that many people inside the inundation zone will not get out. 22% of Oregon's coastal population is 65 or older. 29% of the state's population is disabled, and that figure rises in many coastal counties. We can't save them. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say, oh yeah, we'll go around and check on the elderly. No, we won't. Nor will anyone save the tourists. Washington State Park properties within the inundation zone see an average of 17,029 guests a day.
And this is true because I don't know if you guys saw the flooding in Arizona and people getting washed away in the Grand Canyon. They had to stay put for a while. Like, helicopters and stuff could have gone in there, but they're like, nope, you're going to have to buy your time. Or bide. Is it buy or bide? What is?
It's estimated that up to 150,000 people visit Oregon's beaches on summer weekends. Most of them won't have a clue as to how to evacuate, and the beaches are the hardest place to evacuate from. Those who cannot get out of the inundation zone under their own power will quickly be overtaken by a greater one. A grown man is knocked over by ankle-deep water moving at 6.7 miles an hour. The tsunami will be moving more than twice that fast when it arrives. Its height will vary with the contours of the coast from 20 feet to more than 100 feet. It will look like the whole ocean, elevated, overtaking land. Nor will it be made of only water. Not once it reaches the shore. It will be a 5-story deluge of pickup trucks and door frames and cinder blocks and fishing boats and utility poles and everything that once constituted the coastal towns of the Pacific Northwest.
I'm afraid of the big one.
The sun's...
This is trippy. I only heard the first part of it. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but what? Reminds me of my chickens. What?
Poles are going to flip, which apparently does that every 11 years.
Yeah.
But this one, they're predicting it's going to be way worse. And when it does that, the electric magnetic pulse that it puts off is like so intense, but it always misses Earth. But they're saying there's a good chance that it's going to hit Earth this time. And he says our magnetic field is 40% weaker than it has been. He said in the past 400 years.
I'm pretty sure a lot of that, after Fukushima, the Fukushima earthquake, and the whole issue with Fukushima power plant, etc., the pole shifted, very small percentage, but it was actually pretty big according to shifts. And since then, I don't know, the magnetic field has been really glitchy and weird.
The Earth's magnetic field has decreased 40%. So like if
What does that mean?
basically it would be the sun having an EMP attack on Earth.
us. Which
So
what
it's-
happened in like Knowing, right?
Similar. And then that's why the theory is all these billionaires are building bunkers.
Oh, jeez.
The sun's poles are a
Crazy.
weatherman is like showing the radar and like this big like storm formation. Or
Yeah, chemtrails. A lot of people don't believe in them. I had a friend back in the day, and but we got into an argument about chemtrails and elevation of certain planes, and he's saying, well, they're only making this because they're at this certain elevation and everything freezes. Yes, I know what regular chemtrails look like, and they dissipate within a matter of minutes. But chemtrails stay there forever, and then you see them doing the X or line, like, it's intense.
or whatever. He's like, just so you know, this isn't a storm. This is just military exercise. Popping up on the radar looking like a storm.
Yeah.
Did it again, but they were basically like, this is not a weather formation. This is the military dropping chaff, shreds of aluminum, fiberglass, and plastic
Why?
used by the military to trick radars.
What?
So it's
Oh.
basically a blanketing system.
Yeah.
So you're killing us because you're paranoid. Thanks.
To where the radars cannot penetrate through it. And they've been doing that all.
I wonder if that's why they weren't worried about the balloons going over. Because, like, they were going over at a very slow rate of speed. Is that why they weren't worried about it until it hit, was it North Carolina or South Carolina?
Over the U.S.
It's just particles in the air.
Wait, but that's poison. Is that raining down on us?
Yes.
The thing that I showed you, this chick is talking about like snow is now toxic. She takes a cup, scoops it up, melts it down, and then takes a magnet on the side, and it's not dirt in the snow. It's literally pulling to the magnet all the
And I know there's iron in the dirt, but still.
debris from the snow.
A weather.
Snow's not snow these days. Don't eat the snow. Grandma taught us how to make ice cream out of snow. Don't do it.
Terrifying. The Prophecy of the
not
Pope.
the
This
same.
book was found in the Vatican archives in the 1500s, and it was authored by, his name was Malachi of Armagh, but
Yeah, we did. And you know what? That's why I won't swim in the ocean in California.
this book has 100
And people are like,
phrases.
oh, it's not
Basically,
going to travel
it-
that far. Seriously. Okay, so let's take a stance on this. Not only are the dolphins getting it, the fish are getting it, it's in the water. You can tell that the waves or it's not a jet stream. The flow in the ocean, I can't remember what it's called. It's kind of like a jet stream, but in the ocean. A Harley Davidson motorcycle made it all the way from frickin' Japan all the way to California. You know the water's coming from there to here. There's no question about it. Seriously. It's not funny. And yeah, I would not swim in the ocean when I went to visit California. My husband's like, oh, you're crazy. I'm like, no, I'm not swimming in the ocean. Also, there was 2 great whites that showed up when they went swimming, so forget about it. I'd rather swim in a pool or something.
Single pope from in 1143 all the way to our current pope, Pope Francis.
No way.
But the scary thing is, after Pope Francis, the
Uh-oh.
last one, it just says in Judgment Day.
Oh, gosh.
It literally ends after Pope Francis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pope Francis, there's another one. Once that one happens, it's supposed to be the end. You know, it's said in the Bible, nobody knows when the end comes, but I don't know, things are adding up.
Creepiest thing that I saw inside St. Paul's Basilica, like bordering the whole inner sanctuary, is every single pope, like a picture of every single pope. But what's weird is that there's only a certain amount of markers to where you can put a picture. One left after Pope Francis. They
Creepy.
have always said that once that last slot is filled, it will be the end
I wonder if he's the Antichrist.
of the world. What he predicted and the time it took to go from the first pope that he
Weird.
wrote about to the second halfway mark pope was years. And he's saying from the middle one to the end, another 422 years will be the end of the world. And if you do 422 years from the middle pope, which was 1585, that year is 2027.
Dang!
Pope John the 23rd, he said that the end
We got
of the
3 more
world would
years.
happen
Or 2.5.
2,000 years plus Christ's life. So that adds up to 2027 as well. You guys want to hear something terrifying?
All right. So on that note, boys and girls, we do have to go to our music break. So on this break, even though I was late, I'm like, I need to switch it up a little bit. I love Mia Savage, Antidote for Savages. I love Jeff Hilliard and his music. But yeah, I can listen to it all the time, but I wonder, like, do other people like it as much as I do? And I use it for when it's just me, but it's been just me for a while because working and being the only one that does anything around the house here, it's really difficult to book things. So, we got something special for you tonight, boys and girls. So we got Griff from Toronto, Canada, my friend Dennis Dyke, rest in peace. Let's say Toronto. But he's going to be singing Best Life. We got Roy Washington, who is our musical host. He's the one that has given us most of our music, except for Jeff Hilliard and Mia Savage, and I think one more. But he's going to be singing Subliminal. And then we have Miss Tamara Bubble from the greater New York area with Laundry, Out the Mud, and Cute Panties. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Did you know after the Civil War, 100,000 Confederate soldiers that moved down to Brazil, and they still have a city in Brazil, and it's called Americana?
Yeah.
100,000 Confederate soldiers went down to the south of Brazil to say, like, hey, we're going to keep the South alive in a new country. Every year, they have a festival commemorating the Confederate soldiers.
It's crazy.
No!
That's in Brazil.
Stop!
And apparently they said the city's actually nice. They had no idea. Like, there's some people that have went there and said, we had no idea that's what the history of this town was. But it's actually a pretty nice city.
Apparently, like, the older people in Americana, Brazil, they have, like, a combination of a southern accent and they, like, roll their R's. They're like, Brazil. Yeah, we live in Brazil.
That's
it's
hilarious.
crazy. But they said, and they started planting, like, tobacco, cotton, all this stuff. And it says that half of them, 10 years in, ended up leaving because they're like, this is really hard to keep up with all these crops and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, because you don't have slaves.
Golly, dude.
Did you know remember we had that solar eclipse a couple months back? Talked about things that could possibly happen. Do you know what St. Louis was doing?
What?
They are currently doing a drill for a 8.6 magnitude earthquake where they're suspecting the New Madrid fault line to shift, being a catastrophic earthquake.
Where's the Madrid fault line?
Was it Kansas or Missouri?
You think we're all right though?
No. I definitely think it's going to happen. That split, there's like water where the solar eclipse went, and it goes right over the New Madrid fault line as well.
What would happen? Hypothetical situation. It splits in half, right? And there actually is a body of water. Do you think it's chaos? Like, do you think it's east versus west? It's like everyone for themselves?
Think about supply trains, right? Like, to get supplies to the west side or the east side, there's going to be a giant gap.
They think it's going to be the whole nation or just like
they think
a
it's
section?
going to be a giant split. Like, I mean, catastrophic. Like, something we've never seen before. There's also fault lines in Wyoming, which has people a little freaked out because of the super volcano that is Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah.
And what a way to go. I want nature to take us out, not nuclear warfare.
We're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Nature would definitely be better, especially if it's quick. You know, not like a long drawn out, you know, there's no light because of ash, etc., so you're going to slowly starve to death. But if that volcano up in Yellowstone does go up, it's going to be crazy. Okay, these are a few things that I saw, and I'm just like, this has got to be AI. But then the video is kind of janky, so it makes you wonder, is it AI? But these are several different supposed UFO sightings. Let me know what you think. I don't know about this one.
I mean, that's obviously
Weird. Real UFO footage. Let's see where this one is supposed to be from. Oh, it doesn't say. Like, what do you guys think about these? These look like homemade, like... This could be one of those freaking balls that you get at Walmart. I've seen several UFOs. I have video and pictures of UFOs. Now that's trippy. What? No. No way, Dorad. I do have some pictures of, like, red lasers going down and, like, bending. I don't know. It's crazy. Hopefully we're out of the woods with that. Because I'm not too impressed with those. There are some really impressive UFO things.
His name is Jeffrey Bezos.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Jeffrey is widely known for his success in his creation of a $2 trillion company from just a measly $250,000 investment made by his parents. But Jeffrey has a secret. What is not widely known about Jeffrey is that his grandfather is Lawrence P. Guise. Lawrence P. Guise helped form the Pentagon's super-secret Advanced Research Project, ARPA, in 1958. In later years, that agency was renamed to DARPA. DARPA is responsible for the development of the internet and spurred breakthroughs in high-speed networking, voice recognition, and internet searches. And then coincidentally, what one can only perceive as a passing of the torch ritual, 1 year before Lawrence P. Guy's unalived in 1995, Bezos founded Amazon in the garage of his Bellevue, Washington home.
I'm sure.
They know that we root for the underdog, so they prey on our weakness. Question everything, friends.
You never mentioned the fact that his grandpa helped to create DARPA. Now it makes sense why he's been able to operate a monopoly for so long with zero repercussions. He comes from a long line of manipulating the public. He's making Bill Gates look like a stand-up citizen. Now that's a little overboard. I take that back.
That was Mod Tricka in the house. But no. What are those people called that are like Nicolas Cage and other people that are in the acting world, like Julia Roberts' niece? Oh, she's in American Horror Story. I can't remember her first name. But anyways, geez, I'm hoping I can remember the name of this. But anyways, they were born into it. Like, they didn't have to work hard like a lot of other actors and stuff, or a lot of other rich people. Like, it's just basically handed to them. Even though they can have really good acting careers. All right, this is pretty trippy. Speaking about how kids are trippy, this is pretty trippy. Let me see if I can see the name of this really quick. The Ghost Dad Paranormal. Make sure you like, subscribe if you're on the TikTok. All right.
I can't be the only one that this has ever happened to or remembers this. I remember specifically when I was younger, probably from, say, age 6 until probably 10 or 11, that I could, I don't want to say see the future, but I could see when things were going to happen, like in the immediate future. And that happened like all the time when I was a child. One story that I specifically can remember is when I was, I would say, probably 9 or 10 years old. And my baseball team, I played on this little league team called the Sports Hawk, and we were having practice, and we were at the end of practice.
I know, sorry. I realized that after second TikTok.
And I specifically saw this happening before it actually happened.
You can hear me now, right?
Because when you're out in the outfield, you're just kind of daydreaming, et cetera, et cetera. I visioned my mother pulling up to the baseball field and my coach hitting a pop fly out towards me as I'm walking to go out to be picked up, and me catching this fly ball on the shoestrings of my foot. And that's exactly what happened. That whole scenario played out. And I knew it.
How do you do
I
that?
felt it in my bones that was going to happen.
So did he catch it, or did it hit him on the shoestrings on his foot? Because I would imagine that would bounce off just like it did my knee. Playing softball? Like, come on, what's happening?
And this happened a lot. I mean, I would see like pictures and things like that of things, or I knew the phone was going to ring, and I knew exactly who was going to be on that phone when that phone rang. This is way before cell phones and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, did anybody else experience that? I know that I can't be the only one that's happened to out there in La La Land. I can't be.
La, la, la. I don't like AI, so therefore I am not going to like this. And that bitch keeps showing up on my phone unannounced or uninvited. Knock it off.
Humanoid robots in your house is no longer a thing of the future because 1X have just shocked the world by releasing the first look at Neo. Neo is designed from the ground up to be a consumer robot. In other words, your ethical slave. Yeah, anything you want it to do around the house, chore-wise, it'll do. Unload the dishwasher, make the bed, hang up the laundry, kiss you goodnight, oil you up. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And to make Neo less intimidating and dangerous, it stands at a short king 5'4" and a skinny king at 25 kg. And if you're wondering why bro's looking like a roadman in a tech fleece, well, this outfit is actually to protect you from pinching or crushing your finger, you know, if you were to get physical. It can run at a speed of 7.5 miles per hour, carry a maximum of 20 kg, and has about a 2 to 4 hour runtime, depending on the activity. And I've heard this too many times. The reason reason it needs to be modeled after a human is because everything we've built in this world is designed for human form. More creepy, yeah, but easier. 1X is now preparing pilot Neo robots for deployment in select homes later this year. So the question is this cool or creepy? Humanoid robot.
Have you guys ever had a mimic voice? I haven't ever heard my own voice talking to me, but I've heard other people's voices talk to me when they're not there. So I think that's the same thing, but I've never heard my own voice.
Y'all, the sound in the second one, I think I watched that at like 6 p.m. yesterday. No. Oh my god, I can't.
Loading. What?
Apparently, they posted an update video and said that it hadn't come back, so hopefully it's fine, everything's like good, but the sound, if this isn't real, whoever made that sound needs to be on a Hollywood set right now in a scary movie, because... And I don't eat? What the fuck? Why am I crying yellow?
What the heck?
I'm crying yellow.
Nope.
We now return.
I don't know about you guys, but I grew up watching Beavis and Butthead, and I love those guys. Damn it, Beavis, let's watch this video.
To hour 4 of the Hoarders Marathon.
His daughter
I was Butthead, and my bestie was Beavis.
told us it was bad.
But she always wanted to be Butthead, but she wasn't.
Let's watch something else, Butthead. No way. Those chicks at school said they love this show. And now we must figure out why, so that we can score with them.
You've hit rock bottom, but we're going to help you get your life back.
Whoa, she is really into this dude. Look at that. Whoa. You think she's gonna score with him? Of course she is. Just look at her go. Ooh, things are getting out of hand here. Whoa. No wonder chicks love this show. They like to score with disgusting hoarder dudes. We know what we have to do. It is time to become hoarders. Let's fill this house with garbage. Cool. Damn it, Beavis. How are we going to fill this house with garbage when it's full of all this crap you left on the floor? Oh, yeah.
You got a head start, dude.
Well, I guess we better clean it up.
We now return to hour 4 of...
Want to hear a story? This story's going to take us right outside Ellensburg.
I've heard all kinds of stories about this, and even like after he sold it and different things that happened with that. I don't know. Mel's Hole is trippy.
Washington, to one of my favorite legends and what may be one of the most fascinating in Washington, the legend of Mel's Hole. In 1997, Art Bell, the host of the iconic Coast to Coast Radio, received a fax from a man calling himself Mel Waters, who claimed to have a bottomless hole on his property. Mel was phoned into the show for the first time on February 21st, 1997, and he made some extraordinary claims. He said that he owned property about 9 miles outside Ellensburg in Manastash Ridge. And according to Mel's story, this hole has been there forever. The owners before him knew of it, as did the owners before them. And they all, along with all of the neighbors, used this hole as a kind of giant trash disposal. They would dump trash or debris or even unwanted appliances into this hole. He even said that one guy used to dispose of truckloads of used tires in it. Mel described this hole as being roughly 9 feet in.
I mean, it's like, why? Okay, this is a hole going into the earth. Down in the earth, there's different aquifers, etc., underground rivers. You're going to pollute it. But yeah, some really strange stuff happened with this.
Diameter, with a 3-foot thick retaining wall around it. And this retaining wall stretched about 15 feet down into the hole. He said that he had added a steel door on top to stop anyone from falling into it. And he said at first he assumed it was an old well or a mining shaft. But one day it dawned on him that the hole...
And how much exactly did the still door cost? Because that's huge.
Was never filling up. So he got curious about how deep it actually went. So he started lowering a 1-pound weight attached to fishing line down into the hole to measure it. At the time of the call, he claimed that he had lowered 80,000 feet of fishing line into it and still had not reached the bottom. He also noticed some other strange things about this hole. He said there was no echo when you yelled down into it. And also that his dogs refused to get anywhere near it at all. It wasn't just his dogs. His neighbors' dogs didn't want nothing to do with it either. One of the strangest things that Mel claimed in this appearance on the show was that there is a local story of a man who threw his dead dog into the hole. Rude. Shortly after, the man was hunting in the area when he saw his dog. He said it was for sure the same dog, same collar, same tag, and that the hunter knew for sure that that was his dog. Somehow brought back to life and put back onto the surface. The call was very strange. The story became a sensation. I listened to every phone call from Mel, and it does seem to me that his primary motive in that first call was just that he was curious about the hole. He wanted to bring attention to it, and I think mostly he wanted to break a world record. And while this call did not result in him getting put into the Guinness Book of World Records, he definitely got the attention he was looking for. Because a few days later, on February 24th of 1997, Mel received another fax from Mel. It said that since his call, there had been some new developments. Mel claimed that within those few days, he had gone to Yakima to go to the Costco there. And on the way back, he decided to swing by the property. On the previous call, he had explained that he wasn't actually currently staying there, but he was staying in Ellensburg because some of his buildings had been damaged in a recent snowstorm. He said as he turned up the access road to get to his property, he found it blocked. Military vehicles and armed guards. Guards informed Mel that there had been a plane crash and that he would not be allowed onto his property until the crash was investigated. Mel protested, saying that's his property. He can go up there if he wants. And the military personnel told him in no uncertain terms that it wasn't necessarily his property and that it would be very easy to find a drug lab there. Well, Mel took that for what it was, a threat.
Really?
So he left and appeared a second time on Coast to Coast. He spoke of how before finding the access road blocked that there had been a lot of helicopter activity overhead. He also said that just since sending Art the fax, that the access road was now blocked completely. You could no longer even pull onto it. When he found the access road blocked, he went around and started talking to the neighbors. And he said he learned a couple more strange things about this hole. One neighbor stated that a while back, they witnessed a black beam shooting out of it. They described it as blacker than black and shooting up straight as high as they could see. Another neighbor, an elderly man, recounted what he'd always heard about the hole. That back in the day...
Okay, I've never seen anything blacker than black shooting into the sky, but have you guys seen, like, dark lines shooting up in the sky? And it makes you wonder, is that a cloud line or whatever? Never seen anything like this before this last year. Really weird. You always see, like, you know, the beams of light, cling, 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 coming from the clouds because the sun's behind it. It's like, heavenly. Never seen the dark lines going into the sky until this year. It's like a shadow line. You can see it on the mountains. You can see it through the sky. You can see it in your pictures. What exactly is it? I do not know, but not darker than the dark.
There used to be a series of stone columns around it, very similar to the pillars of Stonehenge, without that capstone on the top. Another neighbor claimed to witness temporary buildings and shelters being hauled up that access road before it was blocked completely. As Mel explained, this location was very remote. There was no electricity, no running water, no phone service. So obviously whoever was up there had to ship in everything they needed. Mel generally sounded shook this entire episode. The next update from Mel took place 3 years later, when he appeared on the show for a third time in April of 2000. And his story got even more bizarre. He said that after the last call, he had a second encounter with this military presence who made him an offer that he couldn't refuse. He and his wife were divorcing, and he had always dreamed of moving to Australia. They funded that move to Australia and paid him $250,000 a month to lease his property. And he said all was well for a while until he came back to the States for a visit. During that visit, he was scheduled to appear again on the show. But when the day came, Mel never showed. He never answered the phone, never called in. And his explanation for why is wild. He said on the day that he was supposed to appear on the show, he'd been helping his nephew move to Olympia. Afterwards, he had to return the moving truck to Tacoma and then was planning to take the bus back. While on this bus, some sort of altercation took place. The bus was stopped and transit officials boarded, needing to question the passengers about this incident. Mel claimed he went with one of these officials, who said the passengers would be taken to their bus stop through the transit vans. Mel said he boarded this van, and that is the last thing he remembers. He then claimed to wake up in a dirty alley in San Francisco 12 days later. He had no wallet, no keys, no ID, was even missing his belt buckle. He had only the
I remember how they're like, it would be really strange if a drug lab showed up on your property, but instead of that, they drug him whether it's through gas or whatever, maybe they gave him a water bottle. Here, you want some water? And it had something in there. And then they take all his shit and put him in an alley and make him look like he had been on a bender of drugs or something. It's ridiculous. I love my country. You can government.
Clothes on his back, the clothes he was wearing while on the bus. And weirdest of all, he was missing his teeth. He claimed that all of his back molars had been pulled out. He said he had no idea what happened to him, where he had been for 12 days, or where his teeth were. He also claimed that after he was returned, after those 12 days, and he made his way back home, he found out that legal action had been taken against him by his ex-wife. The people up on the ridge, who he had leased to, who had put in paved roads, a septic system, and underground fuel systems, had violated the terms of their settlement agreement. Mel lost all rights to that property. During this call, Mel also talked a lot about how strange Ellensburg is in general. He said that in town there is a tree in someone's yard that has a whalebone jaw embedded into the tree. He says there was a famous UFO encounter there, and the Kennewick man had been discovered not far from his property either. He also told a strange story about a gun that had been dug up on his property, not far from the hole, that resembled a German P-38. It made no sound when it was fired, and that if it was laid down by a radio, it would start to pick up stations from the past. He was beginning to believe that everything that happened or that came from the vicinity of this hole had some unusual properties to it. His fourth call to Coast happened 2 years later, on January 29th, 2002. And his stories just continued to get more erratic and bizarre. He spoke of coins being found near the hole that had the wrong dates on them, but with Roosevelt's face, as if they had come from a different dimension. He did state that he had not returned to the hole. He then suggested listeners to pull up the Terra Server satellite
Colville Reservation, Cascade National Park, Olympic.
Images. Basically the old school Google says that his property on those images are whited out. This is that image from 2000, which really does help us narrow down the possible location.
And there's other places like this, like places in Alaska, in Oregon, in Washington, Antarctica, where before people were like doing Google Maps or whatever, whether it be by car or satellite or whatnot, and they find something and then whoever catches up with them and then they blank it out or cover it up, just like the moon and stuff like that. Mars.
Discuss that in the next video. He states proof of the military's presence. At this point in Mel's Coast to Coast saga, he began to speak extensively of another bottomless hole that his focus had shifted away from the one in Washington. Mel Waters' final call to Coast occurred on December 20th of 2002. And in this call, he was almost completely focused on the Nevada hole. But this appearance was the last time anyone heard from Mel Waters. No one knows what happened to him, and there is not a lot of record that a Mel Waters even existed, making Mel and this alleged hole quite a mystery. Because this subject is so long, the next video will be the search for Mel's hole, where we'll try to narrow down where it could be and if it ever really existed. So stay tuned for that. Want to hear?
I'm trying to.
Riley, what are you doing?
Okay. Hold on, my daughter's here. My daughter needs something. Therefore, she's ignoring the sign on the door. Yeah. What is it, daughter? Okay. If you go into the kitchen, on the baking cabinet where the toaster oven and stuff like that is, there's a flashlight.
Oh, okay.
Grab the flashlight. Can you do that?
Yeah, that makes sense. You look sensitive, smell it. Okay.
Okay, shine it on something scary.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Otherwise, I'll be out in like 20-something minutes.
20-ish.
Yeah. Give or take.
Love you.
Love you too, bug. I'm sorry you're scared. Don't be scared. I'm sorry. Had to tend to the child. I'm like, there's a sign on the door. No, it's all right. Well, it's my kids and they need something. I do not mind whatsoever. Okay, call me Chris. I love this chick. So hopefully you don't mind. And this is just about kids, because kids can be weird. Really weird. All right, here we go.
I'm just on the internet. You spend way too much time on that thing. Let's do something else. Let's draw together, paint together, something. On the internet, people paint each other. Can we do that? Yes, let's do that. Put that thing down. Okay. All right, I'm done. What do you think? How the hell did you do that? What is this? What is this? What is it? That's a fucking masterpiece. What is
Free
that?
Shrugs.
How did you do that?
Free Shrugs.
Painted it. Where did you learn that from? the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know how to parent this situation. The internet says you should give me an allotted screen time. Do you want to see it? All right. Riley, what are you doing? I'm just on the internet.
Sorry. I love Call Me Chris. I don't know if you know her or not, but she's moved from Canada, aka Canada. I can say that because my grandma was Canadian, so I'm part Canadian, so I can call them Canadians or say they're from Canada. I don't know. I'm just giving myself certain rights that I probably do not have. This one reminds me of some of my native friends, and I don't know if you've ever watched The Indian in the Cupboard, but I thought this was pretty funny. If you're not used to foul language, maybe plug your ears or tell the kids to leave the room, because there is some cursing in this one, but I love it. If the Indian in the Cupboard was made with a guy from the rivers. Let's continue.
Holy fuck! The fuck am I? Holy shit! Where am I this time? Shit. What res is this? Oh, fuck! Hey, are you Jesus? Fuck you, Jesus! Oh, you're not Jesus? Holy fuck, you're big. The fuck are you? What do you mean I'm tiny? I'm tiny? No. They told me not to look at the eclipse, and here I did it. Here I did it, and here I am. Now everyone's gonna think that I'm hoping.
See what happened?
I'm on the cupboard? Sounds kind of fucked up, huh? Did you put it in here because it's easier to take my land this way? Is that what you're doing?
Oh, fuck.
Right, well, fuck, you got any food? So this is where I could stay? Okay, alright. Hey, it's not that bad, huh? Oh, look at this place. Fuck, this is nice. You must get your toys from Chief and Council. Straight from the Chief, this is from, yeah. Oh, ooh. Ole. Who's that? Barbie? Shacking up season, huh? Who's that guy she's with? What are you looking at? Now you're talking about you. Fuck. He looks like Custer. What? Fuck you! I'll go over there and kick you in the fucking nuts. But you don't.
Guys, some very...
I love it. Okay, so earlier we were talking about Stonehenge and how people are getting unhinged, and because of global warming and shit, they're desecrating Stonehenge. How does this make sense? I don't know. But let's check this out, because there's some interesting things going on here, I must say.
Very interesting news has just dropped from Stonehenge.
Right.
And it kind of changes the story about it entirely. Recently, some scientists tested the center altar stone, the main middle stone, which is actually kind of half submerged underground. It is a sandstone, but it's a red sandstone. And they tested where it was from, because previously they thought that
it could have been Arizona or Utah or something, but no, Scotland.
It was from Wales, which is far away, but still semi-close to where Stonehenge is. But no, the stone is, in fact, not from Wales.
East Scotland.
From Scotland. And that particular type of stone is found conservatively 750 kilometres away from Stonehenge. But it's also found in the Shetland Islands, which is around 1,000 kilometres. So potentially, somebody dragged a stone, or however they got it there, 1,000 kilometres to be at the centre of Stonehenge.
So, according to historians, etc., people took logs and laid them down and then rolled the stone along the logs for miles and miles and miles, or plunked them onto a little boat, took them over to Stonehenge. But did you know that Scotland has its own Stonehenges? I would not have known this had it not been for my friend Jim Morris. He told me about the Stonehenge in Scotland. And guess what? You guys should look into it online or whatnot. But there are Stonehenges in several different places. I think it's a couple in Scotland, and then I can't tell you exactly where else, but it's pretty interesting and intriguing. You know, that's my favorite line, right? Right.
This is the altar stone here. It's kind of submerged at the moment between the earth.
Okay, you can see the red in the background is the white, like a moss. Generally, a moss is like green, but this one's white, as some mosses are.
And some other stones have fallen on top of it. Maybe that's why it wasn't analysed before. But anyway, it has been now. And this is making me think that we need to analyse like every stone in ancient sites, because we can't be, we can't just assume that every stone is one and the same from the same place, I guess, until you test it.
Maybe they need to have different properties. Just like other stones that people carry for protection and grounding and growing and transformation, etc., etc.
Because this...
Sorry. They should check every stone. Why not? You can't just check one stone and be like, yep, that's what happened. No, check every single one and see what the properties are and where exactly it came from, if you know that.
This is phenomenal news. Because let's think about this logically and logistically. You don't move a piece of stone 1,000 kilometers just because it's pretty. You just don't do that.
I would, but it wouldn't be that big.
There are plenty of other beautiful, massive stones that you can find in Wales and in England. Like this little diagram here shows the white stones are from England, the purple are from Wales, and the green one is now from Scotland. So there's like a trifecta of different types of stones being put in a very certain arrangement. There's a reason you do that, because that is a hell lot of energy. That is a tough day at work, taking
England, Wales, Scotland. So they have checked all of them. England, Wales, Scotland is near the center. Why is this? This is very intriguing. I need to look more into this, I must say.
An altar stone from the Highlands of Scotland.
So is that the altar stone? Is that why it's kind of like prominent in the center? Because you have like the 1 and then the 2 and then the 3 that go like this. Kind of looks like it's making a foot. But the other one over here, I don't know. Sorry.
Down to the bottom of England. And if you're not from England, let me just assure you, it is a long way. Up through the mountains of the Yorkshire Dales. It's not flat. It's tough.
Yeah.
It was for a reason. So basically the point of this public service announcement is to say, something's going on, more than meets the initial eye. There is a reason why they were bringing all these stones from very, very far away and arranging them in a very specific order, with this one in the middle. If you've got any ideas, please feel free to let me know, because I'm going to be thinking about this all day.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. I'm just kidding.
So police nationwide are warning of potential...
Okay, you guys, I've had this guy on here before. Yeah. I'm not saying it's aliens, but I'm saying it's aliens. One of my favorite lines from Screech Him. And there's a lot of different things that go on with that. But this guy is pretty on cue with certain things that he shares with us, so... Listen, this guy's got a lot of relevant information. So police nationwide are warning of potential attacks from Venezuelan gangs. But guess what? We have that. We have that happening in Aurora. The governor is saying, no, this is not happening. Of course the governor is saying that, because if that was actually happening, he's not doing a very good job. So he's like, oh, it's just mythology, fiction. This is not really happening. People have been kicked out of their homes, whether they're black or Hispanic or whatnot. So these Venezuelan people can come in, as generally gang members, putting their families in there. Started off with one apartment complex, now a second one, and it continues. And different people go in, talk to different people, and report The more people you talk to, the more truth you find, because a lot of people are afraid to talk because they've been threatened. So people haven't paid rent there for months. For months. Who lives somewhere and doesn't pay rent for months? Unless they're like, besties with the landlord. They're like, yeah, I haven't paid rent for months. That's because they're coming in and taking over. I'm not saying all Venezuelans are bad, but this stuff is really happening. It's pretty freaking trippy. But yeah, let's get back into it. Holy shnikes. Earthly.
Attacks from Venezuelan gangs. Homeland Security has also released a statement saying that police are also in direct danger. Do me a
Okay, that's another thing. Sorry for interrupting again, but the police force, here and there and everywhere, especially in Denver, Aurora, Colorado Springs, big places, people are done. People don't want to do this anymore. It's so dangerous. We are overcome with so many people that aren't abiding law citizens. Excuse me. Things are happening that aren't okay. They aren't. But yeah, the police won't go in there because they want to go home at night to their families. What the crack is supposed to happen? What the crack are they supposed to do? So yeah, you guys gotta watch this and see what the crack this guy is saying, because he's got some really good points here. Just letting you know.
Favor and share this video with everyone. Now, if you haven't heard about this, let's talk about it. Well, they have basically taken over Central Park in NYC with robberies and attacks. They've taken control of apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, and multiple robberies in Denver. The Chicago
and the robberies are gun shops and different places like that. What?
The police department's warning officers to be on the lookout for members of the Venezuelan gang they say are living among the 40,000 migrants who've come to the city over the last year. El Paso telling citizens to be on high alert as dangerous
I just want you to know, I'm not against people coming to this country. I'm European, I'm Irish, I'm Egyptian, I'm Black. Hard to believe, but yeah, that's me. I'm so many different things. My great grandparents, Mary Catherine Gallagher and John O'Brien, came over here with the babies, and certain things happened.
What kind of reason out there? Because I didn't really see it.
Okay, so right next to the toaster oven, it's right behind something. I put something right in front. Oh, the Lysol, right behind the Lysol. Just Lysol with a bracelet around the lid. So you go into the kitchen, it'll be to your left. It's that cabinet that sits right there by itself. They used to have our pumpkin carving and baking supplies in it until the mice took over. Now we have the toaster oven on top, the oven mitt.
That little bit.
Yeah, that little bit of mold from those bananas.
We still gotta clean up.
Yeah, we still gotta clean up. But it's right back there, right behind the Lysol. I promise. It's right there. Go look.
So scary, I think.
Well, I'll be out there in just a couple minutes, but we're going to finish this real quick. But yeah, I'm not against people coming into this country, because had they not, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be somewhere else, probably Ireland.
Venezuelan gang described as MS-13 on steroids surges in the U.S. Now let's see what the former FBI intelligence director had to say about these incidents.
This is hugely concerning when you see that the level of violence and intimidation that's going on. And if law enforcement writ large, which will be required to disrupt this gang, doesn't focus on them, they're going to continue to grow.
So as this group continues to grow and get stronger, how do you foresee events playing out? Let me know what you think in the comments. AP out. So police nationwide...
I got pink because then I can see them if they fall out of my ears, because I have little tiny ear canals, and I'm missing my red one. The other black one doesn't work. If you see my other red earbud, let me know. isn't it?
So I just went.
It's what is Skull Candy? Yeah, Skull Candy. I'm super excited. Okay, this guy is a library historian, or I'm not sure what the name of his job is, but he's about to talk about some books, and some of these books are pretty big. So let's go real quick, right?
Went to Barnes & Noble and bought 2 new Bibles, the NIV, the New
He got these at Barnes & Noble. What?
International Version, and the ESV, the English Standard Version, to compare to all of these Bibles. And you know what? This is missing some verses. That may be news for some of you, but let's take a look. If you have your Bible, go to Acts 8:37. Here is a
Acts 8:37 in your Bible.
Let's take a look and see what it has to say. And Philip said, if thou believest with all thine heart, thou mayest. And he answered and said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. That's the first edition King James Bible. Now let's go to a Tyndale Bible. Here it is. This is even pre-verses, but the last part. I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. There's that. Let's go to even, this is the first edition, 1560 Geneva Bible, the Bible of the Protestant Reformation. And here it goes. Then he answered and said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And then here in Spanish, this is the first Spanish Bible. This is to show that it's not just the English Bible, but this is the first Spanish Bible, 1569.
Wow.
And here it goes right here. Y respondió, él dijo, creo que Jesús el Cristo es Hijo de Dios. You don't even have to speak Spanish to know that said the same thing. Hijo de Dios. And then another version says the same thing. So I'm just saying, now I have to show you these. Well, let's go to Acts 8:37. And it goes right here. It goes 36, and then there's 38. There's no 37, but there's a little footnote here.
36 to 38,
some
no 37.
Manuscripts add that. If you believe with all your...
Why? Just 37 missing. See, this is what I don't like. Okay, let me get back over here and make myself bigger. Although nobody's here right now. We did have a few, but no more. But the addition and omission of certain truths. Why do that? For the control of man. Where are you going to put 2 different ones, leave the one in the middle out? This does not make sense. This is not correct. If you want people to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, leave it alone. But no. Human beings are perverse, and they're going to pervert it the way they want to, just so you are under their command.
Mom, it's like a little candy thing.
Yeah, I got a little candy thing. Thing is, yeah, it's a fizzy gush. Yeah, weird. Yeah, it is.
Your heart you may. And he replied, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So it recognizes that it was in the Bible. But
what was the paragraph or scripture or whatever phrase you want to use before that? What was the one in between 37 and 39 or 36 and 38? I can't remember what he said, but there's one missing. Lo and behold, there's a lot more than one missing from the Bible.
It is not in the NIV or the ESV. You will not see that verse. Tell me your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, my thoughts are, forget about it. All right, so on that note, we are going to go to our second music break. Lily, say hello.
Hi.
She went to Fly High today and did a lot of jumping around.
I still got my Fly High socks on.
Oh, nice. Are they comfy? Comfy, cozy?
I like them.
Nice. All right, we got Griff, Tamara, Bubble. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
love to see. No time to get rest, we doing our thing. Cha-cha, then we dip, top it off with a spin. Glide across the floor, let's do it again. By the way, little mama, can we be friends? I can't let this night just end. I really wanna know if I can see you again. Give me your number, we'll get back on the scene. We can hit another club if that's your thing. We'll be partners in crime, you and me, as we ripping up floors like two dancing machines.
Roy Washington brought that song to us this evening. I'm so grateful for him and for him sharing his music with us, because without him, I think I have like 2, maybe 3 artists, maybe 4 or 5, I don't know. But I have a lot of people from the East Coast, and I'm so grateful because I love all kinds of music. And it's funny because country music, and it's because of a past experience I had, but otherwise, country's pretty cool, and country's pretty weird these days, really, if you want to really talk about it. But yeah, let's get back into these videos, shall we? Alright, let's go. Oh, yeah.
So I just went to Barnes & Noble and bought 2. This is absolutely one of the rarest books in my collection.
Okay, so it is one of the rarest. Let's listen.
It is a 500-year-old book on magic. Not just any magic, but this is one of the most important texts in the Western magical tradition. It has been for nearly 500 years, and it is Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa's 1533 work, 3 books of occult philosophy, and it collates from a multitude of sources, classical,
I love this guy.
Renaissance periods, and it organizes them into 3 parts: natural magic, celestial magic, and ceremonial magic. And it systematically explains philosophy, logic, and methods of magic and astrology and how they work. It's even the basis for the 19th century magical orders such as the Golden Dawn, and it's a primary source for countless books on the magical uses of stones, herbs, incense, and astrology. Let's take a look inside. Let me show you a few things. Here's an up-close image of the title page showing Agrippa's occult philosophy book. And if we go to the very back, it's known as the colophon date. It says occult philosophy by Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, finished in the year 1533 in the month of July.
I'm glad he knows.
So, fortunately,
Roman numerals.
now this book is in Latin.
So I'm just like,
but fortunately, it's been translated into.
For me, I'm not good at math, and when Roman numerals came in, I'm just like, all right, I'm good at this. So then you're adding this. I think I'm ADHD and other freaking things, but nobody knew that at the time. So I was born in 78 and then going to school later on. I didn't go to kindergarten. I went to latter years, but yeah, no. What? Oh, hey. Call 911.
English and a variety of other languages. Now, if we go to book 1, the natural world or natural magic. It presents the definition of magic and the definition of the
Hello, my YouTuber. I don't know who you are, but thanks for being here.
Shows how earthly things have natural and occult virtues that derive from their resonance with the divine elements and celestial bodies.
It's amazing.
Celestial magic.
And look at that work on the front cover.
The stars, planets, and numbers. And Agrippa illustrates that the correspondence of numbers across the spheres from the heavenly to the infernal, and presents tables of the planets alongside the names and seals of their demons. And finally, book 3, The Divine World, or Ceremonial Magic, shows the necessity of purity and secrecy in ceremonial magic. And it examines our place in the heavens. And Agrippa details the power of the human soul, the importance of religion, and the language used by angels. And that is just a brief overview of Agrippa's book on occult philosophy, one of the most important books on magic.
You gotta look out for these. Seriously.
This is absolutely one of the rarest books in my collection, and it is a 500-year-old book on magic.
Oh, hold on a second.
This is absolutely one of the rarest books in my collection. It's time for me to show you the scariest books that I have in the bookstore. Here goes.
Okay, guys. Sorry to just, throw you guys into this. Okay. If you don't know, now you know. One of the scariest books in history? Could it be the Satanic Bible? Could it be something else? Could it be the Constitution? Could it be some otherworldly script? I don't know. Let's go and see, because I'm pretty intrigued. Let's go on and check it out. I love this guy. Let's go over here and look at his name really quick. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Moon. Oh, let's make it a little bitter. Moon's Rare. Moon's Rare Books by Reed Moon. Moon's Rare Books. Okay, so if you can go and check him out and subscribe to this guy. He's put so much work into this. He's so intelligent. He knows a lot of things. I wish I could meet this guy in person and figure this stuff out, but check it out. This is intense.
We're going to start out with a 225-year-old grimoire, or a book of spells. What about Japanese ghost scroll?
Okay, guys. Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt again. I'm sorry. Okay, so I don't remember this because I was only 4 or 5 years old when this happened, but my siblings got into the bookshelf. I was into the kitchen. I'd go in there, even the late night munchies. Late night munchies, you know what I did? I went in there to look for the Pepto-Bismol because it tastes so good. So I think they changed the taste of it because kids were nom, nom, nom. But my older siblings said they found a book of my mother's. It was a spell book. And they read from it, not only personally, but out loud. What exactly happened there? Was it... Okay, so there's so many different theories. I think my mother made a deal when she was younger. I think my siblings finding this book and reading from it later on, a smidge different, but still freaking serious, I'm telling you. And they all regret it. They're like, we wish we never had read from that book. But they were young kids. They didn't know better. And they did. They did what they did. How do you turn back from that? You can't. You can't recant. Okay, I'm going to read this backwards. Does that work? Or how exactly do you get rid of this incantation? Not quite sure, but if you know, let me know in the chat. Anywho's, let's continue. Because holy shnikes, this guy is amazing. Please look him up. I need it bigger again because I can't quite remember what his name is. Moon's Rare Books. Indeed. Please do check him out.
From the early 1800s. This is
That's a script.
Long, and that is a ghost scroll. What about this penny dreadful copy of Frankenstein? Originally,
I love Frankenstein.
This is in the late 1800s. Is the first abridged version of.
So I'm wondering if the early version of Frankenstein is different than the one I read to you guys. If you want to hear it, I read it on this channel. You can look up Frankenstein here, but holy shnikes, I think it's not changed, but who knows?
Frankenstein by Mary Shelley.
I love Mary Shelley.
Okay, back to witches. Malleus Maleficarum, or Hammer of the Witches. This is the most sinister book ever printed on witchcraft. It is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people between 1500 and 1750. Malleus Maleficarum,
How?
Hammer of the Witches.
Oh! Look at those pages.
Show you the scariest books.
They're so beautiful.
They really had a no entry sign for his stalker.
Okay. You guys don't know what's about to happen here. What's his name? Chris Brown or something like that? Let me make it bigger. It's been a while since I've seen this. Yeah. Part 3 of my experience for Chris Brown. 11/11 tour. Okay, so this is later. Maybe we'll go from latter to earlier. I don't know. I don't feel sorry for this guy. I think every single thing he did, he's recouping. 3-fold, 10-fold. I don't freaking know, but fuck Chris Brown. Or I could go like this. Yeah, fuck Chris Brown. I don't like the guy. Never have, never will. Even when he was with that gal. Oh, can we do some more, editing with our live DJ here, taking care of the sound, like, you know how it goes, like, computerized. You can hear it. This is not natural, but go on, Chris Brown. Okay, maybe the microphone is diamond plated because you're an asshole and you can't really sing, but you put so much money into your microphone and you're singing into it. You don't even have to sing the actual natural things, but here it is. I'm gonna beat your ass, you're gonna like it. So I can't stand the guy. Whatever, dude. It's so impressive. Let me fuck you up all night. Put your eye, and your ear, and your temple, and your rear. Touch your guts, and your kidney. Don't mess with me. Fuck off, Chris. I've never liked this guy. Never have, never will.
This is unbelievable. What the...
Okay, here we go. Chris's true form. So that first video, I'm just like, all right, mofo. What in the butt? No. Chris Brown, I got a finger back here for you. This is what I think of you. And your fucking neck tattoo. Anywho's. These people have made deals. Certain things happen. Certain things will. Certain things will. Yes, certain things will. Let's get back to it and into it, because holy shnikes, my friends. This is intense. This is insane. This is not right. Not right. Go on. Chris Brown, true form. Oh, you a demon? What in the butt?
AI believes Chris Brown's true form is.
Look at that bitch. So I don't like AI a lot, but if that's what he, she, they think Chris Brown's true form is, it must be true, because they take all this data, all this information, and make their subjected outlook on it.
This is unbelievable. What the AI believes Chris Brown's true form is.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Hey man, message to Chris Brown and Chris Brown.
Okay, so he's got a stalker, and you thought Chris Brown was crazy? This chick is crazy. Let's go.
And family. If everybody did not know yet, there is a spiritual war going on, not even just what's going on with Chris. It's going on in today's world with everything that's happening around us. It's happening. You just have to listen, and you have to notice it. This woman right here, she is trying to knock off Chris.
So look at his smile. He's like, you know, when you take your kids, get a family portrait, and you're like, smile, they're like, he's doing the same thing.
Brown's 11-11
I think he's scared.
But she knows she can't do it just like that. So what is she trying to do now? She is trying to come for Chris Brown's fans and his dancers and his family. I mean, this woman literally said, where can I legally KILL? And y'all are literally just telling me.
I don't know, perhaps hell? I'm trying to think of somewhere else. Well, there's other places where you can do drugs willy-nilly, nobody fucking cares. But what about Moida? You know, sometimes these things go hand in hand. I'm not sure.
This woman is human. Like, bro, come on, look at her, bro. Look at her.
Look at those beautiful teeth. Are those caps? What the fuck? Is this cap? What the? I don't know. Sorry for my language, but is this real or cap? Like, what? This cannot be real. No way. No way, dude.
Please, if you guys don't believe me, here's the video of her talking about that.
Everybody, I was remembering everybody's face. Man, wait till I get my money right. I don't care what I gotta do. If I gotta join a gang, if I gotta do some mob shit, I don't care. Because these niggas, I can say it, because if you go with the wrong crew, you don't go to jail.
What about your
teeth? I work for the government. Where can I legally kill?
So right now, I don't have no information on anything else that's happening right now. But once I get information, I'm going to post it on here and let you guys know everything. Until then, everybody, please pray for it. Just pray for everybody that you know. Anybody who's going through something, anybody who needs help, just please pray for them. On the side note, I'm going to be going to Chris Brown's Orlando concert.
Okay, Chris Brown, you made your bed. Now you gotta lay in it. Whether that means crazy psycho stalker bitch or whatever, that ain't as hardcore as beating somebody's ass. Or mentally abusing. Like, I remember when I was in my abusive relationship, it was like, would you just beat my ass already? Because it was like verbally and emotionally abusive. Yes, it was physically. Yes, I lost 2 children to this relationship. This chick, psycho crazy, psycho killer. Case got sick.
July 13th this weekend. If anybody want to come say hi to me, I'm not going to bite. I don't know if anybody knows, but I have a basketball team dedicating Chris Brown. And I will be bringing
good for you. You support Chris Brown.
His basketball jersey to the concert July 13th. If anybody's going to the Orlando concert, come say hi to me. Come sign the jersey.
Hi.
Hey, we're going to have a blast. And if you don't know what I look like, I'll be wearing this shirt. I'll be wearing this shirt right here. I love you guys. Everybody have a blessed day. Make sure to follow my Instagram, teambreezy_elite for more updates. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Bye, y'all.
In the misty hills of...
Yeah, this chick is crazy. So we're getting into Banshee mythology. So we've gone through several different things. And now we're going back to Ireland. Another place for size. Let's see what's happening now. Let me unharp this one. Let's go.
Ireland, whispers of an ethereal figure drift through the night air. The Banshee, a supernatural spirit from ancient Celtic mythology, is both feared and revered. Her name, derived from the old Irish Benside, translates to Woman of the Fairy Mound. Legend has it that the Banshee's piercing cry...
Okay, so, hold on. So what he's saying is a Banshee is Woman of the Fairies? I don't know, let's go.
Foretells death, signaling the imminent passing of a family member. Often described as a ghostly figure with long, flowing hair, she wears a grey cloak over a green dress or a mourner's shroud. Sometimes young and beautiful, other times an old hag.
Is that Chaperone? What the fuck?
Her most unsettling trait is her sorrowful, chilling wail. The keening of the Banshee is a lamentation for the dead, a sound so haunting that it can stop you in your tracks. Imagine hearing her mournful cry, knowing it means death is near. Some tales say her wail is so powerful it can shatter glass or even kill those who hear it, if it's especially loud. Across Ireland and Scotland, the Banshee's myth varies. In some stories, she is a gentle spirit mourning the death she heralds. While in others, she is vengeful, reveling in the demise she announces. Linked sometimes to the Bean Night, a Scottish spirit washing blood-stained clothes, the Banshee remains a symbol of life's inevitable end. Despite modern skepticism, the Banshee endures as a potent figure in the Irish folklore, embodying the mysteries of death and the supernatural. An eerie reminder of that connection between the living and the dead. So next time you hear a mournful wail in the night, beware, it just might be the Banshee.
Not right.
There is a terrifying entity lurking in South Dakota. In the Badlands National Park, there is a legend of something otherworldly that stalks its canyons and buttes. Meet the Badlands Banshee. The Badlands have been called by some hell with the fire.
We go from Ireland's Banshee to the Badlands Banshee. Let's go.
And it seems there might be something haunting this place. Around Watchdog Butte, some say you can hear a blood-curdling scream suddenly pierce the night. According to stories from Irish settlers,
Maybe La Lorena? Where it's at? What?
Area. This hair-raising wail belongs to a banshee, a vengeful spirit whose appearance may spell imminent doom for those who cross her path. This banshee of the Badlands takes the form of a willowy and pale woman wearing a flowing white dress with long dark hair and glowing sunken eyes. It's reported that you'll feel an overwhelming sense of dread before hearing her cries when passing near this haunted butte. Travelers have said they sometimes run into a lone woman out there. She'll gesture for them to come near as if wanting to speak, and when travelers get close, she'll suddenly fling her arms out, revealing her grotesque face, and start to shriek before vanishing into thin air. The Banshee will then reappear atop Watchdog Butte, where she continues to scream, flailing and contorting her non-corporeal form, causing travelers to flee in fear. It's also said that the Banshee has a companion in the form of a glowing skeletal horse who will be attracted to campsites that pass the time while playing musical instruments. But what do you think? Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what state you want to hear about next.
Okay, so let's see who this is really quick, because I don't want to leave anybody on mute or whatever. Strangeology. So STRANGEOLOGY. You just don't understand. No, this guy is amazing. So make sure you check out Strangeology and please like and subscribe any video you've looked at. Look at this guy. He's in it to win it.
There's a terrifying entity lurking in South Dakota.
Yes, we know. Now we're moving on to the next one. Hello? Yeah, this is scary. He's like, I'm not hearing about this chick. It's with his little sister. Yeah. Perfect. Wow. That was crazy. Anguished cries, park ranger responding to reports of people doing a ritual. In the forest captures the cries of a woman. Enveloped. In the forest, no people were found, but what or who was it that cried out like this? Could this be a banshee?
This was sent to me. I did a video yesterday on banshees. This sounds like the howl of the banshee.
Yeah, good for you.
They typically sound like a woman howling, or they sound like a whisper, whistling at night. Okay. If it's not a wild animal, all right, I think it's really important as a paranormal specialist that we also keep our minds level-headed, okay, and understand that there could be wildlife.
Hello, my Twitcher.
This, but
nice to see you finally this evening.
This is typically of like what it sounds like with reports of banshees. So
I don't know. Pretty fucking creepy. But let's go on to the next one.
Hey guys, check out this amazing video of what looks like a stairway to heaven. These sightings have been seen all over Canada and the Toronto area, as well as China, Ireland, Germany, New York City, upstate New York, Albany, Elmira, California, and also Florida. Check it out, guys. What looks like heaven floating in the sky. Is this a city?
Oh, look at the stairway. Look at the bright entrance. That's pretty awesome.
Or is this a stairway to heaven? A lot of people all over the internet are wondering what this is. It was captured by a couple.
What about you? I've seen so many weird, different cloud formations. I've been looking at the sky since I was 5, almost 6. Because my mother was killed by a drunk driver. There's so many weird and strange formations happening recently that never happened before. I truly believe this could be a stairway to heaven.
I believe it was captured in Toronto. We have other videos just like this, and these things are showing up.
Well, I heard Toronto is a pretty hairy, scary place.
All over the world right now. They're going viral all over TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. What do you guys think this is? Comment below.
Is that you, Richard? Who's that?
Hey guys, check out this amazing video.
No, we already did. To heaven. And then Triangle UFO. Okay. 8/10/24, Albany, New York. What? Pretty impressive. Either it's looking 2 different directions or they're flipping the camera view. I don't know. What the crack? Yeah, man. It's a pretty good one. And I don't want to look at it anymore. Let's go to the next one, shall we? UFO, California.
Hey guys, check out this amazing video of what looks like some type of UFO flying around Palm Desert, California.
Oh, yes.
Now, looking at the video, I noticed it had very, very good quality.
It's like an orb type
possibly
thing, but it's
4K
more
or
metallic.
high definition resolution. And also noticed that the UFO was kind of black and in the shape of a saucer.
Zoom in.
Mixed with like some sort of Tic Tac. You guys could actually zoom into a TikTok video. I don't know if you guys ever knew this before, but you could see a window. And
very fast.
Okay, so these are weird. These have been found California, Nevada, Arizona, everywhere. These weird little metallic things. When I saw at the ocean, I'm like, that could be like a metallic beach ball just floating along, but
Apple-shaped UFO spotted in England. I've seen many UFO videos, but this one is different.
What the frick is that? So I'll just like whisk away to wherever it wants to. Wow. 2008.
Very fast apple-shaped UFO spotted in England. I've
just making sure.
There
we go. Okay. Amazing UFO footage. OVNI in New Mexico? What? Triangle UFO the size of a football field. So what's OVNI in New Mexico? I know it's in New Mexico, but is OVNI UFO? I'm not quite sure. Let me know if you know España. That'd be great. Watch until the end. Share and repost. Okay. That is just like the formation that was very prominent. Like the lights were much bigger because it was much closer. So it was just like, okay, here's Arizona. Here's the frickin' UFO. Like the ones I've seen are way up there. So I've taken pictures of things by the moon, different colors on a cloud. I call it the conference in the clouds. So many different crafts. And then recently, triangle ones. I don't know. It's insane. And just talking about it makes you feel crazy. Size of a football field. Dude, seriously. So is it like 2x2, or is it just like because their hand is shaking? Why? What is? I think it's shaking that makes it look like 2x2. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 on each side, 1 in the middle. If they go together and up to a bigger ship, I've seen that. But wow, where is this? It's in Mexico, but where? That's amazing, dude.
Hey guys, check this video.
Okay, guys, check this video out. Alien taxman in Texas. Seriously? Okay, first of all, I don't know about this. Alien attacks man in Texas. Seriously, to me, it looks like the poor alien is in a cage away from this person, but I'm not quite sure. Let's get a closer look and see what the crack is going on, because I'm not quite sure. Let's go. Let's go.
So yeah, guys, we got video footage.
Oh yeah, I see
Believe it or not, guys, and it looks kind of real to me. You know, there's a lot of fake stuff all over the internet with CGI and AI. But this here, guys, this looks absolutely real. What we see here is a tall, gray extraterrestrial trying to put his hand.
If this is an actual alien, I think it's closer related to us than a lot of other ones we've seen.
Through the bars at the door, which protect
Poor guy. A lot of them will just sit there and look at you, or sit there and get interviewed or whatever. This guy's a fighter. Go.
And basically, the gentleman is there with a friend or either a relative, and he becomes feared of this thing.
Captured him. He's trying
Whatever
to get
this
him.
thing is creepy. The video has since went viral all over social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
I can imagine you piss this thing off. It's like jumping and reaching because this guy's like, I'm filming you. Getting all close like he can't do nothing. Oh, look at the alien behind the cage. What would you do?
What do you guys think this is?
That's a pissed off alien is what I think.
Hey guys, check out this video of a huge...
This is trippy. I have to warn you. Really?
Alien type of creature of an unknown origin. People...
This totally reminds me of the new kitten I have in my house, and like generally it's all calm and it's just looking around, but then other times it's like everywhere and like, you know,
in El Paso, Texas, have claimed to seen this 6 to 7 foot long cat that's taller than a human being, climbing homes and also making noises on top of people's rooftops. As you guys could see, this thing looks a lot like E.T. from the movie. Check out this ring cam footage a lady in El Paso, Texas reported.
Yeah. Come sit here, huh? Yeah, look at... I was telling him, this thing is bouncing around like the new kitten we have. I was playing with it this morning and it was doing the same motions. So yeah, it's like everywhere and yeah, super weird.
We got an alien cat.
We do. I'm serious. See? Same thing. Yep. Alien cat.
It looks like it changed colors, like it was black.
Well, I think it's the light.
Yeah, probably.
Made it look kind of red or something.
Yeah.
Holy shnikes. What the crap just happened? I'm scared.
Hey guys, check out this video of a huge alien type of creature.
Most beautiful UFO ever recorded on the internet.
Most beautiful UFO ever captured on the internet. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, I love that.
It's beautiful. Like, I've gotten pictures of things like that. Okay, let me go back over here. Holy shnikes, where the cracker here. I don't even know if this is working.
This is so weird. Like,
yeah, because it should be like this one and then the TikTok thing that I had. But
what are you doing?
See if it works.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Huh?
Nothing.
Me?
Me?
Just hanging around. What are you doing?
Hanging around.
What are you doing? Huh?
No.
Me?
Me? When you home alone at 3 a.m., use the bathroom with the door open. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I'm trying to get out of the screen. Oh, that's what it is.
Time is running out. What's wrong?
Not that bad. Well, let's go to this next one. Oh, me? I don't know. What you talking about? Yeah, I need to see it there.
Yeah.
When you're home alone at 3 a.m. and use the bathroom with the door open.
Random water
I'm gonna start it off slow.
3 a.m.
I'm gonna scope the scenery out.
Isn't this true?
Watch out.
Especially in our house.
English, in Spanish, English, and the King James Version.
Yeah, everywhere. All across the world. What we experience, I'm pretty sure you do too. Or not.
That's
right? That's why she's like, oh, in my room, where's the flashlight?
It's just too scary.
Yeah, it is. It is scary. I'm just used to it, so I'm just like, whatever.
Look, yo, I'm gonna start it off slow.
Bro's about to have a
I'm
duel.
gonna scope the scenery out.
Right?
Watch out.
He's about to have a duel with the Bible. The Holy Bible.
Me making news.
Yes. Talking to the imaginary camera. Yeah.
With your feet on the
I do that when I make, like, any craft.
Okay, you guys, if you try this, don't try it. We're giving you a warning. Please don't try this at home. This chick, super brave, I guess, or could be super dumb. I don't know, but
either brave or dumb. You could get kidnapped doing that.
Or you could get hurt.
Yeah, you could get really hurt and there's, like, no one there.
Ready?
To call it. Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, so this is the scariest part of my commute home. I'll show you. That's the old Lincoln Heights jail. That's why I don't take that street.
Jail is at night is just too much.
She's riding her bike, filming. There's her headlights. Yeah. There's your basket. Yeah.
Needling for the stairs. Where? Oh, it's not this one.
Oh no. Why are you looking ahead? Look forward. Completely empty road until
Angeles just like is done early.
Yeah,
it's an early fucking city.
Until like
But
you
let's
hit
show
a
you.
tree or
Hold
something
on.
and you can't call the cops because
we're pedestrian.
Okay, so we're crossing
Yes.
the river.
Someone.
I have a friend that was found dead in the river for no apparent reason. So I'm always scared crossing the river. It's dark as fuck.
Happens.
And then there's this
Especially a lot in Texas, I heard.
stairway.
Pause it to see. What? Pause it to. Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Pause it to see the dark slit of a stairwell that leads up a spiral staircase to a walkway on the side of the I-10 or 110 freeway. The holes in the fence along the walkway connect to hobo trails. Dude, that not only looks like an entrance, but something like a dark figure.
Yeah, like if I drove past that, I'd just be like,
What? Yeah.
Just speed up as fast as just.
So that's what I call the needle and poo stairs, and it runs along the freeway, and it's completely insane. Look at my fucking sick outfit. I don't know. But I feel like I made it through the gauntlet of the sketchy area now. Now we're somewhere where there's like a
McDonald's, yeah. Should be safe around there. Finally, some other people on the road.
Like, nah, I'm less
Well, you're lucky they weren't before because you could have died.
That's a good and bad thing.
Okay, so this is the scariest part.
Oh, Nikes. Okay. I guess that's the end of the show then.
And I think I left my computer recording. I think I paused.
I wonder what it caught.
I'm
kind of intrigued.
I'm pretty sure I paused it then.
Okay, but if you didn't, we have to look what it